Yeah, I'm gonna wipe the floor with you.
Probably. All right. So CrossFit posted this. This was sometime last week.
Yep.
CrossFit makes you more athletic. Here's why that's a lie. So here it is. So they posted this, and it seems like they took the stance of CrossFit doesn't make you more athletic, and they basically say they never claim to.
Before we dive in, tell me if you like or not them having the balls to just like have conviction in something they're saying. Do you like that? Yes or no?
I don't mind it. Yeah, I mean, look, we're talking about it, right?
Just
Like it gave us
because
something to
I'm
talk
just
about.
saying in contrast to I feel like the media
Just being dead
they
silent.
haven't done anything like that in a long time.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, obviously, I disagree with it, but I think it's a good, like, I think it's just like a good talking point, like good something to bring up.
We'll see how you feel at the end of this.
Okay, let's see. All right, so you can start. So you don't think that CrossFit makes you more athletic?
I do not, and I think you have to start because I can start, I guess. Yeah. So CrossFit is a general physical preparation program from the beginning. That's what it's always stated. Its goal is to improve your overall fitness, which is your capacity amongst broad times and modal domains, right? Your fitness, whoever has the most area underneath, the curve of. I'm losing my train of thought. You know what I mean, though.
Abilities, yeah.
Yeah, of energy uh, pathways, metabolic pathways. So, the 10 physical fitness skills, right? Those are what it's increasing. But those are physical attributes, right? That it's increasing, and they're broad. They're not specific. The goal is not to get you good at a specific skill. It's to give you the physical skills to express. Sorry, I should say give you the physical qualities to express skills.
So your argument is that doesn't make you more skilled.
Right. It's giving you physical attributes and qualities, not skills itself to athleticism.
So what do you define as athleticism? Like what would you say athleticism
I
is?
don't have like the definition off the top of my head. I probably would go off of close to what I sent you on Instagram. We could pull that up.
Okay, let me
That's like
pull that up.
because that's John Wellborn too, and he used to be a CrossFit guy, but he's all into like the sports. But I mean, when I think of athleticism, like I think about just the most generic sports, like ball sports, and I think like a display of athleticism is being able to be like fairly competent in multiple ball sports that are widely popular. I think that's a very good litmus test to see your athleticism, is to see how you can display yourself and your skills across multiple sports.
So why do you give preference to ball sports?
I just say ball sports because they're probably the most popular, and there's more of those. I mean, what other sports, do you want to include? I'm fine with it. I just use ball sports because they're the most popular, and there's the majority of sports, I'd say percentage-wise, are involved balls.
Yeah.
And like courts,
It's either,
fields.
yeah, it's basically either balls or racing.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show this video that you sent me because I do have an interesting, like I do have a thought on this.
Okay.
Define athleticism as the ability to seamlessly and effortlessly combine primal movement patterns through space to accomplish a known or novel task. You're watching these athletes do things and it looks easy. You watch a guy in the NBA go for a dunk and it looks so effortless when he jumps and he extends and he goes. And you think to yourself, how could somebody do that easy? And we realize that the key hallmark for athleticism is seamless and effortless. They're able to transition the ball into the hoop to where you don't even see a hitch. It looks simple. The ability to seamlessly and effortlessly combine primal movement patterns. This is really the foundation of the training.
So in my opinion, that's actually just like he's just defining coordination, not athleticism. Because I think coordination is the ability to blend two distinct movements together.
I feel like coordination is way too broad, right? Because, I mean, he's talking about accomplishing a specific task, right? Because, I mean, coordination, I feel like in terms of CrossFit and physical preparation, you gain coordination of your body the most. And obviously you have to have coordination to figure out Olympic lifting. But when we're talking about performing a specific task, it's not going to I mean, there will be carryover, right? And that's why the physical abilities like raise your ceiling to perform your skill. But it's not like, look at it this way. I just look at it like you can do all the coordination training or CrossFitting you want, but if you never practice catching and throwing a football, that's my biggest argument. I don't want to jump right to it, but it's like if you could do all the CrossFit in the world, but you're not going to practice catching and throwing a football, and then you try to catch and throw a football, you're not going to be any good at it.
So this was my major point to it, but I'm just going to skip ahead to it. So then by your definition, there's nothing that could make you more athletic.
Playing the actual sport is going to make you more
So
athletic.
You're just gaining skill. You're not becoming more athletic.
I'm trying to think of how you're trying to frame it. But athleticism, you're combining, like he talked about, and I think you're combining movement patterns together to accomplish a specific task. I'm just trying to think.
So then what is athleticism? How quickly you can pick that up?
Yeah, I feel like it's like, I liked how we talked about like seamlessly and effortlessly, like do the task, make it look like it's just so natural, like the way your body moves, the movement patterns. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of confused on how like your stance. Like, how do you define athleticism?
Well, I define athleticism. I think.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, I think when I think of athleticism, I think of it a little differently. Like I think about it in the scope of each individual, kind of like whatever sport or scope you're talking about is what I consider athletic. So if we're talking about basketball, Steph Curry is not considered athletic by most people because he can't jump very high and he can't run very fast compared to most people. And he's got like shorter limbs.
He can,
but I would consider him not amongst his peers in the NBA.
Yes. Yeah.
But I consider him to be one of the best athletes in basketball because his output is one of the highest.
Okay.
So my definition of athleticism would be basically just your ability to produce in that specific sport. So if we're talking about becoming generally more athletic, I would think so. Like if we're talking about does CrossFit.
I feel like you're contradicting your own point then, because I think I agree, because he is so good within his sport, right? So how would something like CrossFit, because he's not powerful and like can't jump high and run the fastest, but that's what CrossFit would give him more of, is give him more power, give him be able to do these things, not make him a better basketball player performing his task. He's really athletic because he's developed really good qualities as his sport.
If the question is, does CrossFit make you more athletic? Then we haven't set a scope. And so in my mind, if you haven't set a scope, then the scope is everything. If you're saying, does CrossFit make you more athletic? In my mind, I think, does CrossFit make you more ready to produce in every sport?
Yeah.
And I would say that by doing CrossFit, you're ready to produce in every sport more than almost any other form of training.
I'd agree. But like I said, this is where I was like, I think that we're like just going to disagree on definitions, because I think this is coming down to semantics on what we're referring to as athletics. Because like, I guess I just insinuated the athletics, especially what they were talking about, is like making you better at whatever you're directly trying to get better at. Because we can agree on the fact that the sport And what you do in strength conditioning is separate, correct? It's not the same thing.
Yes.
And so do you think the same person or same coach in most instances is going to be coaching both those, or is there going to be a separate strength conditioning coach and a separate sports coach?
Usually it's separate.
Usually it's separate. And my thing is like, that is okay. And I think that's like CrossFit's argument is like, the goal, this is not our goal, is to directly transfer what we do. It's indirectly making you better, but it's not a direct goal to get better at that specific thing. But let me ask you this. Do you think James Sprague is athletic then? He's the fittest man on earth. Does CrossFit make him athletic? Do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd have to see him, but I would imagine.
Did you watch him try to catch a football when they did the open announcement?
No, I did not watch that. Did you watch him learn a backflip in like 5 minutes, though?
Do you think he could?
Yeah, no, he did. He's posted on his Instagram.
He about tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the old brute strength video of Jacob Hepner doing those like the tests amongst all those people?
Yes.
Are you gonna tell me Jacob Hepner's athletic?
Yes.
No.
Bro, let me tell you something.
Bro, you think fitness and athleticism is the same thing, I think.
I think that fitness is a huge part of athleticism.
I think there's overlap in physical quality.
I think that if you were to take Jacob Hepner and you were to put him on like a rugby field, the amount with somebody else who you would consider more athletic, I think Jacob Hepner has a possibility, even though he is not very good at like catching balls and stuff, to have more output, like more success in that sport.
So it raises his ceiling and his ability to perform better, but it does not improve the skill aspect of it. Like he's physically fit, so he can do things like run hard and have good conditioning, but those aren't the things that seamlessly and like effortlessly give him like ability to cut and change direction, especially CrossFit. You know for a fact CrossFitters are not going to be good at change direction, all the plyometric stuff, unless they have a sports background. And you've seen that from everybody.
But again, I think that we're talking about what is athleticism.
Exactly.
I think athleticism is ability to succeed in your sport or a sport.
Yeah, and the way
I think that if Jacob Hepner can make 8 more tackles in a game than somebody else because he has better fitness, that's going to contribute more to winning than somebody who's slightly better at cutting. Potentially.
Yeah, I think this is semantics, like arguing over definitions, unfortunately. Like I think we agree. But it's just like I think about like my argument, and I think what like you have to take this is like in a vacuum. Okay? Like let's compare isolated people, like samples. Sample person 1, they can only train in the weight room. Okay? They can only do CrossFit. They can only train to get better at. Do you want to pick a task or a sport?
Let's say soccer.
Okay. Person 1 is only trains in the gym, right? Sample 1, they only do CrossFit. Okay. Person 2 only practices soccer. Okay. Goes and kicks the ball around, does that stuff, does the soccer practice drills.
But then you're not increasing athletic. Go ahead.
Who's gonna be a better player?
The soccer player.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like,
but then that's the problem is you're making the argument that he's not increasing his athleticism, he's increasing his skill and his knowledge.
Exactly. And
so let me ask you this.
That's a huge part.
Let me ask you this.
Athleticism is skill more than anything.
Okay, now we're switching to water polo.
Okay.
We've got a water polo player. We want to get better at water polo, but you can't practice anything within water polo. How would you have them train? Or how about this? I'm going to come to you and I'm going to say, hey, you have this athlete and you have 6 months to get him ready. In 6 months, I'm going to throw them into a random sport. You don't know what that sport is. How would you have them train?
Well, yeah, I would do strength and conditioning. I do CrossFit. But that's not making
That's what I'm
them a
saying.
better
It
athlete.
increases your athleticism.
You're trying to
It increases your
fitness.
it
not your
increases your ability to succeed in any given sport.
You're saying fitness and athleticism is the same thing.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, dude.
No, I'm not, bro. I'm saying that if you can't train for something specifically, that increasing your fitness, your overall fitness, is going to give you the best chance at succeeding in a random sport.
Over somebody who does not. Yes. That's how you're saying it though. It's like
No.
yes. Because
I'm saying you can train them however you want. You just can't do that specific
Okay,
sport.
well you're talking about it as one sample. You gotta have to. What are you comparing it against? What's your control, right? Because you have to compare it to something. You're just saying this person's better off.
No, I asked you how you would train them, and you said CrossFit.
Okay, but
you could have said anything.
Okay, no, I'm saying better off against what I would have said the sport then. If I could have said anything, I would have trained them in their sport.
But I said you can't train that sport because then you're increasing your skill, not your athleticism.
Well, you're the one who said athleticism is performing whatever sport you're in or skill you're doing.
Yeah.
So why couldn't I not do that thing?
Because we're talking about generalist. We're talking about getting better athleticism. And athleticism, we're talking about a general scope, not a specific
but
scope.
people who are trying to become better athletes are trying to specifically become a better athlete at what they're doing. They're not just like, I'm going to become a better athlete because I don't know what sport I'm going to play.
So then nothing can increase your athleticism.
No, it can. A combination.
Because what you're saying is athleticism is skill.
I'm saying athleticism is skill.
Yeah.
Because skill, and it's like, here's your ceiling for skill if without fitness and physical qualities, and then here's your ceiling for skills with that, right? So it's like it just raises the ceiling, but it's like you can have the skill without the fitness, but it's only going to get you so far. But you can't have the skill with the fitness alone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, so like if I were to come to you and say, I have this person, but I want to increase their athleticism, then what would you do?
Yeah, I would train. I would train. CrossFit, but I would add more to it, like in terms of like little outside the box of CrossFit, like plyos and sprinting, and
which technically fits within CrossFit, but I think most people are arguing. I think most people are arguing like in the gym,
right?
Stuff.
Yeah, so I think. Yeah, so it's a part of athleticism. I agree with you. I've never said that what you do in the gym doesn't build your athleticism, but it's like you cannot tie it all together without involving like the skill of it. You know what I mean? Or piecing it together. Because you're not ever performing a task, right, in the gym. You're just doing general training. You're not doing specific training. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what's nice about CrossFit is you are performing tasks.
General tasks, though, not specific.
They're specific. They're just not specific to whatever sport.
Right. So at least the article.
Let me show you something.
Let's look through the slides again. Let's look through the slides. And that is it like referencing getting you better for your sport? What does the slide say as it goes? I can't even remember now.
Which slide? Oh, the CrossFit one?
The CrossFit article. Just we don't have to read all of it, but what's it?
So it says CrossFit, bunch of junk. Currently, there's a debate about whether CrossFit has claimed that work capacity and athleticism are the same thing. So we claim we build the best athletes. Okay, what do you think about that?
Oh, I don't think the CrossFit builds the best athletes.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
If I were to say, we're gonna take everyone, we're gonna take 1,000, we're gonna take everyone on the planet, and we're gonna have everybody play every sport. Who would you pick to win?
Every sport?
We're gonna do a competition in every sport. The person with the best average from all these sports wins.
Do you actually want me to pick a specific person?
I mean, I'm just asking you if you would pick, like, would you pick LeBron James? Yeah. Would you pick?
I'm biased. I'm biased, but I think baseball players are the most equipped personally. Everybody knows this. Have you ever seen Mookie Betts?
No.
Bro, this is debate over everything. You put a baseball player in any sport and they can do fine. You put any other player in baseball, they can't do a damn thing.
Well, why do you think baseball?
I don't know what it is about baseball that just creates the most. I think it's like a neuromuscular gained.
From chewing all that gum.
Yeah, buddy. At that high of a level in MLB, those guys are all freaking. They train enough that they're physically fit. I know the sport isn't as demanding in terms of like work capacity, but that's a different conversation. Let's keep going through the slides.
But this is kind of my thing, that work capacity and athleticism are the same thing. If you have someone with an insane work capacity, they're going to be good at any sport.
Not true.
Not that they're going to be good at not that they're going to be good at any sport, but they're going to. That's going to lend itself in almost every sport.
Compared to what? To who?
Compared to anyone else.
If someone does nothing, yes.
Because because work capacity is so important in so many sports.
I agree. But it's like, what are you comparing it to? You have to compare else. What's everybody else doing? Just a different training plan?
Yeah.
Okay. But they're not. See, just keep getting hung up on this thing. It's like, yeah, the sport is what it ties together, the athleticism or the task. It doesn't have to be a sport. Let's keep going through the slides.
It's entirely possible if you have been going to work, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, go ahead.
Fitness versus athleticism. From the beginning, CrossFit has claimed to be nothing more than a general physical preparation, which in the name, physical preparation.
Correct. Broad general fitness. Keep going.
Broad, general, and inclusive fitness to prepare us for the known and unknowable. Known and unknowable. That means known and unknown sports.
But athleticism, the definition of athleticism isn't to be good at random or unknown things.
That's if fitness. You're talking, if you say this, does CrossFit increase your athleticism? You're not specifying the sport. So then you're just asking how athletic, meaning encompassing everything, is a CrossFitter. Now, if you say, does CrossFit make you more athletic for basketball? Then you can maybe make an argument. But they're saying, does CrossFit make you more athletic? And in the definition of does CrossFit make you more athletic, they're saying in general.
So if you were going to test if you wanted to test someone's athleticism, how would you test people's athleticism?
Me personally?
You would do it like a combine, like test, like the NFL does it? Is that how you test athleticism?
No. I don't think you can test athleticism.
So how can you prove someone's an athlete?
You can't. That's why we're arguing.
You can't tell someone's so you can never say that person's athletic.
I don't think measurable. Like, I don't think it's measurable. I think you can look at it. Like, look at someone.
What qualities do you see and say those are athletic qualities?
Coordination.
You said what?
Strength. Coordination.
Okay, coordination.
Strength.
What's a coordinated movement someone does?
Dribbling.
Okay. You think a CrossFitter can just be okay at dribbling?
I think that they'll pick it up quicker because they do CrossFit.
Over someone who just does nothing?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're not doing nothing. But I think CrossFit's talking about it's not making you more athletic for a given task. And athleticism is trying to be good at given tasks, even if it's multiple tasks. Keep going through another couple slides.
Okay. To successfully implement CrossFit, we'll see an improvement across the 10 general physical skills in cardiorespiratory, endurance, stamina, flexibility, strength, power, speed, coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. Do you think that CrossFit increases all of these?
Yeah.
Our mission is to produce in our athletes a physically ready state to handle whatever comes their way and make them generally harder to kill. CrossFit has very clearly defined fitness. We have not defined athleticism. Borrowing from Google AI, let's set the parameters that athleticism refers to someone who participates in sports where there is an emphasis on specific skills and performance of specific competition elements.
Emphasis on specific.
This should not come.
Let the parameter. The athleticism refers to AI, someone who participates in sports where there's an emphasis on specific skills and the performance of specific competition elements. So they're referring to athleticism, someone who participates in a sport, and then there's specific skills and competition elements.
So then why do we have the word athleticism instead of just saying they're skilled?
Because athleticism also incorporates the fitness, physical qualities with the skills.
Right.
It's a combination.
Right.
Okay. Carry on.
So then increasing your fitness increases your athleticism.
A component of it, I guess. It's not a completed. Yeah. I don't know.
This should not come as a shock to anyone, but just doing CrossFit workouts or any type of well-structured strength and conditioning program is not sufficient for developing a high level of skill or athleticism in any sport.
So you think it should just say a high level of skill, not athleticism?
Yeah.
So it is arguing over definitions.
Yeah, but I think any definition you give, CrossFit increases your athleticism. Unless your definition of athleticism is skill.
A combination of skill and physical qualities to perform a given task. But here's my last comparison is if you were, let's say, had a group of kids or just, you could choose for these kids to want to make them better athletes. Okay. Well, I guess for me, my definition is to try to make a kid a better athlete is because I want to make him good at a sport or his sport or several sports. If I had to choose over these two things, one, structured gym training, we can say CrossFit or just strength and conditioning. That's the only thing he can do. Or two, he can just play outside, play ball sports. He can throw footballs, catch footballs. He can shoot hoops. He can throw frisbees. He can, run on the playground, playing whatever sports across the spectrum. If you could choose one or the other to improve his athleticism, I would choose the sport one, playing the sports to make him better and running around, playing at the ball, shooting hoops over the gym.
I agree.
Okay. Okay. So
But
you
that
just
doesn't mean CrossFit doesn't increase your athleticism.
yeah. So it's argument of definitions.
Let me show you something.
I see what you're saying, and like I don't like disagree with what you're trying to say, really.
I'm looking up what I'm about to show you. Okay, do you remember the common themes for the 9 CrossFit foundational movements?
The common themes.
Mm-hmm.
I
can tell you one: mid quarter extremity.
Okay, some core extremity. You're thinking like functional movement, like large loads, long distances, quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else is there other than quarter extremity and long line of action? Do you remember?
I'm not. I'm rusty. No.
Okay, let me show you this. I'm like freezing down here, so can you tell I'm shivering?
No.
Dude, it's like freaking 45 degrees in my house.
Why?
I don't know. All right, let me show you this. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is the greatest shooter alive. I need to find this specific one. Watch this. Watch his shot. Did you see that?
I mean, what aspect of it?
I'll put it in half speed. Now, when you watch this, I want you to think of a push press.
His dip and load and drive.
Come on. Okay. So he stops here. Dip, basically straight up and down. Triple extends, and then the arms follow.
Correct. Do you think you need a push press to be able to do that?
I think that CrossFit and the movements we do in CrossFit ingrain the importance of movement patterns that are existent in almost every sport. And those are because athletic movements, like the core movements in CrossFit, contain long line of action and core to extremity. So I could pull up like 100 examples of different sport movements that look almost identical to things we do in CrossFit.
But couldn't you argue that the sport was there first and then
CrossFit? I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying by doing CrossFit, if you do CrossFit, you will increase the neurological adaptations and physical adaptations in athletic movements.
I disagree with neurological.
Why?
Neurological has to be too specific.
You don't think that by teaching someone how to throw a sandbag over their shoulder, they'll be better at throwing someone in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, but that's literally like replicating the exact movement, whereas like a push press
compared to a basketball shot
is a lot different.
You don't think it has carryover?
No. Like in the like smallest crossover of like, yeah, you have to be able to, like, a push press is going to help you build leg strength, and I don't, because I think you could argue Steph Curry probably never did a single push press in his life until maybe.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying if you take someone and teach them how to push press, it will increase their ability to perform movements like.
So do you think you think Steph Curry could be a better shooter if he started doing more push presses?
Probably not him, but I think if you took someone who has never shot and have them do CrossFit, that there's some potential that they would be a better shooter. They would learn shooting more easily after learning to push press.
Probably. But I think, yeah. I guess I agree. I don't know.
See, bro, I knew you'd agree with me.
No, I didn't agree with you. Our argument is just like, debate just kind of fizzled out. I'm just kind of over it.
So you think that doing CrossFit won't increase your athleticism?
I think it's a piece to increasing your athleticism.
So yes.
But I don't think it makes you athletic.
Well, I don't think anything makes you athletic.
I do.
What?
I think playing sports makes you athletic.
Yeah, playing sports makes you better at those sports, and things super similar.
I think playing multiple sports makes you athletic. Because you get exposed.
But that's what you're doing.
You get exposed to different stimulus, different reactions, different movement patterns, different ways of using hand-eye coordination, different speeds, different you get exposed.
So why does that increase it, but learning how to push press doesn't? Or learning how to snatch, or learning how to clean and jerk?
Because I think the biggest missing component is the athleticism involves involuntary reaction, whereas everything you do inside the gym is isolated and it's in a controlled setting. That's one argument I haven't made the whole time, is what you're doing in the gym is in a controlled setting. You know what you're doing before you do it.
It's not reactionary.
It's not. Yeah, it's and then in sports it's involuntary, and it's.
But that's more of a. But again, that's more of a skill thing.
That's a part of athleticism. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. That you don't get that in CrossFit, right? It's in a controlled setting. It's in a gym. You know before you're gonna squat the weight, you're gonna squat it, right? But in sports, there's that reactionary, involuntary component. And you can't, and that's why injuries happen in sports more than they do inside a gym.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. So,
yeah,
you like that argument, didn't you? Yeah. You don't even.
I thought it was good, but I'm telling you, bro, you're just arguing stuff that's like more mental or.
I just think, like I said, once again, I think we just kind of are just thinking about athleticism differently. And I just don't think CrossFitters are athletes. Majority of them. Like I can't look
really good at CrossFit without being a good athlete, because, like you said, I think you can get really good at CrossFit without being coordinated. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I think uncoordinated people can become good at CrossFit because there's a finite amount of movements that you can just kind of like memorize or like learn things.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, just like my litmus test for seeing if someone's an athlete is like watching them play multiple sports. And I think one of the best sports to watch.
But see, you just said multiple sports.
Yeah, watch someone play multiple sports.
But earlier you were saying that it's sport specific.
Specific.
So how could I not be a good athlete if I'm really good at water polo, but I suck at everything else?
Well, I don't think water polo athletes are athletic. They're called athletes.
What if they're the best water polo player like on the planet?
They're a great water polo player then. Not necessarily.
Bro, that's what I've been arguing this whole time.
What?
You're making my argument for me. You're saying general athleticism is more important than skill, and that's exactly what I'm saying right now. You're saying
general athleticism is more important than skill?
You just said that a water polo player who's one of the best water polo players on the planet is not a good athlete. He's just good at water polo.
Well, I'm not.
And that's what I've been saying this whole argument.
I'm not saying he is or isn't because I haven't seen him do other things. He may not be. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. The litmus test
So
is.
you're talking about general athleticism.
I'm saying at the top, people who are at the top of any sport, there's a good chance that they're athletic across multiple things. There's a good chance more than others. I think you just ate it to my point.
No, you just ate it to mine. I said earlier in the argument that it's important to be good. If you want to know if someone's athletic, you have to look at multiple sports. That's what I said.
Yeah. That's what I no.
But you were saying that it's important of how good you are at your specific sport.
Well, I mean it as like any sport is what I mean. Like you're trying to get. Okay, I see what you're saying, but that's not how I meant it. But
I've seen people who are insanely good at football, and then will play pickup basketball, and they look like they have 2 feet for hands.
how are you talking about? Yeah, and I think the best way to test someone's athleticism is watch them play basketball.
Basketball is a good one. But then again, I've seen some super goofy ass dudes who were really good at basketball. That if you put them out on a rugby field, they would look like an idiot.
So I'm telling you, baseball. Bro, look, okay, go. Look up right now. Look up Mookie Betts. Look up Mookie Betts.
All right. On YouTube or?
Yeah, look up Mookie Betts, other sports.
Is it MILK?
MOOKIE.
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts. Can't believe you don't even know who that is.
Mookie Betts what? Bowling?
You can do that too. Just say other sports.
Other sports.
That just shows me you literally know nothing about baseball. How shocked you are about this.
I really have nothing. I don't know a single thing about baseball. How much do you know about rugby? You ever played rugby?
No. This is, I think, just baseball.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong one.
Let me see if I can see any thumbnails for you to click on. If it's Mookie Betts, go up.
There's just this one.
Yeah, complete athlete. Click on that. Is it choppy for you to do?
It's on 0.5 speed from that Steph video.
Go back. Running routes. Dunking a basketball. He's like 5'10", by the way. He can bowl like a perfect game in bowling. Is he an athlete?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Anyways.
I don't think we have a different idea of athlete. I just think we have a different idea of if CrossFit makes you an athlete or not.
Yeah, I guess I just don't think it makes you a complete athlete. Anyway, I only got like 8 more minutes.
How often do you play basketball?
Never.
How often do you play soccer?
Dude, ever since I invested in getting good at CrossFit, I do not play any sports.
You just CrossFit?
I just CrossFit.
Bro, what if they have the softball toss at the games when you get there?
Well, I'd be fine because I played freaking baseball for 20 years.
What if they have a max drop kick for distance?
I would do okay just because I know the other people suck.
Oh, man. I would love to see like Adler do that. I feel like he wouldn't even be able to hit the ball.
Fittest man on earth that does CrossFit can't hit the ball you're suspecting. So what does that tell you?
Tells me he's uncoordinated. Doesn't mean he wouldn't be a good athlete. Because if you gave him time to learn the specific skills for that individual sport, on top of his or his physical capabilities, he would be good.
Yeah. I just still think you keep thinking.
You taught that dude how to pass a rugby ball and taught him like how to be like play rugby really well. His physical skills would be super useful. It would be hella good.
One thing we didn't talk about too is I think athleticism is heavily genetic.
Oh, I think it's mostly genetic.
Yes.
Like I think if we're arguing that athleticism is your ability to pick up new things, I would say like 90% of it's genetic.
I would say that's a huge
like maybe you
part
can,
of it is being able to
like maybe
pick
you can
something up
increase
fast.
your like neuroplasticity by like 10% in terms of ability to pick up new skills.
Yeah.
But I think most of it's like just genetic. Like for
Right.
me, I've always been pretty good at just
for
like
you saying most of athleticism is genetic, right?
saying
When
most
that
of-
like CrossFit doesn't really make you that athletic.
I'm saying most of the skill portion of athleticism is genetic. And the skill portion relative to
If you had
speed.
to say a percentage of like becoming an athlete, like how much does CrossFit involve to that percentage?
Say that again.
What percentage of CrossFit? Or yeah, how much of CrossFit makes you an athlete? Like what percentage of an athlete? Like does it make you like 100% an athlete? Make you 80% an athlete?
Like let's say you have somebody who, like, give me a scenario. Like a
just
person.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's a broad scenario. Like any person, let's just say it's just a robotic avatar, a robot that was just made. Like what percent of CrossFit would make him to become a world-class athlete?
What percent of CrossFit?
Yeah, like how much like of his profile would that make him an athlete like CrossFit?
Well, I think for most sports, like 40% is mental.
No, I'm not talking. Well,
and then I would say like 40% mental, 80%, or I mean 40% mental, 40% coordination, and then like 20% fitness. Or like fitness you can gain from CrossFit. So like 20%.
Coordination is fitness. It can't be separate from fitness.
I'm saying measurable work capacity, like 5K time, when at max.
I think you're putting, I don't know. I just think you're putting too much. You're putting more weight. You're putting
and maybe
more
it's
weight.
biased. Maybe it's biased towards the sports that I've played as well, because obviously I'm thinking like rugby and wrestling primarily, which work capacity is huge in those two sports.
Right, I agree. And there's not as much skill in those sports. I would say the same football and rugby. There's not as much skill as a lot of other sports. Like
I would say in rugby, there's more.
Like basketball is more skill. Basketball is more skill based than rugby.
I disagree,
dude.
I think that actually
you take someone. It's
bro. Look at Rudy Gobert, bro. Look at Rudy Gobert. That dude cannot dribble a ball.
Relative to his peers.
Relative to you, bro, he sucks, dude. That dude has 2 left feet. He cannot dribble a ball, bro.
Okay, but he's the exception.
And he gets paid, and he's the best.
He's the exception, not the rule.
One of the best centers in the league.
Yeah, but yeah, it's different.
No, the rule is, dude. You want to know the rule?
You think the majority?
1 in 6 people in the United States that are taller than 7 feet will make the NBA.
Yeah. Okay, but that's again. You think that's not the majority? That's the exception, not the rule. That's not the majority.
No. Okay, this came from. Do I think rugby or basketball is?
But you're being biased to rugby. You're being biased to rugby.
Yeah,
There's
I think basketball is
from a
probably more
technique,
technical.
from a skill aspect in rugby, yes, you need to learn how to do their throws. Okay, and you need to be able to do like kicking as well, right? The majority of the rest of it is heavily more influenced on your ability to run and cut and have just power. Those are not neurological skills, right? Those finite details that are way more difficult to.
Yeah, but I also play scrum half, so maybe I'm a little biased towards that.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
That would be like the quarterback. So like I run the offense.
What was I asking you in the first place? I don't even remember what got.
I was saying that I think I'm maybe a little biased towards work capacity in sports because
I was saying, but you're putting more weight on the component of coordination than other aspects of fitness, which coordination does not hold more weight than other aspects of fitness.
I think in most, like you were saying, ball sports it does.
So what's the definition of coordination?
I think what that guy said of blending two distinct movements into one.
Yeah. Guess we didn't talk about any semis.
So something like baseball would be higher on the need for coordination and lower on the need for work capacity.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Baseball, hardest thing to do in sports. Hit a baseball. It's fact.
Yeah. Probably.
Do you agree? I thought you were going to be like, yeah, right.
I mean, probably that or a hole-in-one in golf, but...
Well, yeah, that's like a specific, but yeah.
That's like a specific thing.
The ball's still, man. They're just sitting there.
Yeah.
No, golf's hard. I'm not going to act like it's not. Yeah.
Are golfers athletes?
I think some of them, on average, no. No, on average. I think some of them probably are. But that's because they... Do you think they are?
In their scope, yes. But like I said, in general athleticism, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't refer that to that in their scope as athlete.
You wouldn't?
Like, are them being athletic? They're an athlete because
they're athletic within the context of golf.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they have like a smooth swing and like they have good. Yeah, okay. But when I say athlete, I'm talking about broad. Yeah, like other sports, multiple sports.
Yeah.
All right, good talk. Wasn't much of the debate that we thought it was going to be.
No, I think it was just us arguing over definitions the whole time.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think we agreed though on like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I knew we would. You were like saying you're gonna F me up, but I was like, I don't think so.
I thought you were gonna be like super anti, like it doesn't make you.
Well, I see where you're coming from, and yeah, I just knew that it was gonna be. Yeah. All right, I gotta go.
All right, later, man.
See you, bye.